The 587th edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can win up to 325 times your entry with their new Pick 8. Sign up today with promo code MMA SGPN to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer of up to $250 in bonus cash. That's UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code MMA SGPN. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get the best data-driven props and picks from Rhythm. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Hi-yo, Degenerinos. Welcome to episode 587 of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. This episode is dedicated to the guy. It's a guy, if it's MMA and gambling. A guy on Reddit who recently posted a 12-fight parlay, and he titled it Easy Money. So this goes up to you, because you need all the help you can get, dude, because you're not going to win a 12-fight parlay. Gumby and I are experts, and we hardly ever get 12 fights right in a row. So there you go. Like I said, he needs all the help he can get. Thanks, and people are like, well, maybe you should just do a 4-fight parlay. No, maybe you should do a no-fight parlay, dude. Welcome to the show. I'm one of your hosts, Jeff Chalks Fox. We got an episode for you. We got a fight night. It's got a lot of names. You probably, even if you're hardcore, you're probably like, do I know this person or not? Yeah, it took this fight card took some digging to get all the info I needed to make picks. I'm sure my co-host didn't have to do much digging because he knows all these people. He's one of those type of guys. That would be Daniel Gumby Reeland, of course. Let's bring him in now. Hello, sir.
I didn't have to remind myself who anybody was, which seems to be what you're insinuating. I did.
I knew you would.
I did have to remind myself if some people sucked as much as I remember them sucking.
Yeah.
And then I actually watched two of them. I watched and I was like, no, they don't. Which was kind of nice. Good. Yeah, that was a good feeling.
Yeah, no, I definitely know all the names. It's just like, okay, I got to remind myself. All right, who is this person?
How do I feel about Westin Wilson? What do I remember about Westin Wilson? Exactly.
Yeah, it's one of those fight cards, and it right up to the co-main event. It's one of those fight cards. Sadly, it's a fight night. One of our boys are in the main event, so we got that going for us at the very least. Some interesting odds, perhaps. Thoughts on the prelims, on the odds, on the matchups, anything in general?
There were a couple of odds that surprised me. I like that everything's lined closely because that usually makes for a more fun fight night anyway. And then there's, I think I mentioned it on yesterday's show. There's just like a handful of fighters on there that I'm really looking forward to seeing get the chance to take that next step. Yeah. Carli, Judice, Joshua Van, there's a bunch of people on there. I mean, even either Nate Maness or Jimmy Flick, whoever's coming out of that one, again, like it'll be nice to have some idea of what's moving forward for some of these prospects.
Yep. First step for some of these people, first step in the UFC at least, and the aforementioned Carli Judice hasn't had many steps period in MMA, so it'll be interesting to see how she does in this level, especially after she's talked to you on your other podcast. So we'll see how that goes.
Winning streaks continue for people who are on Top Turtle MMA.
All right, well that's why they're flocking to it, I guess. Right? That's why Gumby's got to fight them off to get on Top Turtle. All right. Speaking of amazing other podcasts other than ours, make sure you join our boy Noah Bieniek. That's Bieniek. He's on the College Baseball Experience, live streaming each night on YouTube, and it's also available for download on all podcast platforms. What you get from him is daily coverage and picks for the greatest show on dirt, the College World Series, until the end of this month, June. And also giveaway time. Everyone ears are perking up now. Also, the Circa announced they are giving away $16 million in guaranteed prizes for Circa Survivor and Circa Millions. Sign up in Vegas and play from anywhere with footballcontestproxy.com promo code SGP to get $50 off. That's footballcontestproxy.com promo code SGP. I am proud that 12-fight parlay was not in our Discord and was on Reddit, which is where you expect such things. And these people are serious too. And instead, and people are like nitpicking like one fight. Like, dude, there's gonna be more than one fight. That's gonna be an issue here. You're picking 12, even if it's 12.
You're coming in hot today. You're coming in. You're giving in real fiery under the collar.
Like, it's just like I guess we need those people, right? Or sports books wouldn't exist, and we wouldn't be able to bet on fights. So we need those people, I guess. So, all right, let's get into this fight night card. I'm so pumped about it. That's why I'm coming in hot. I'm pumped about UFC Fight Night Perez versus Tyra. At least we got a Conor McGregor fight coming in a couple weeks, right? It'll make everything all better, right?
We do have that fight coming up too. I know that at the time of this being recorded, there's currently a lot of issues and people are convinced it's off, mostly just because Ariel Helwani said it was. And like, he all he did was be like, that press conference being canceled was bad news. Like, he doesn't have any more information than we do.
Exactly. Speculation at this point, which is what they want, or at least what Conor wants. So we shall get onto these fighters that are actually active and actually fight in the UFC. UFC Fight Night, Perez versus Tyra. As I said, it's going down Saturday, June the 15th from the UFC Apex. Hooray! Jamal Hill finally has something to watch. 7 p.m. Actually, no, I think Topology's wrong. I heard, didn't it get bumped up to 4 p.m. I think start time. I think I heard.
I think the main is at 7.
Yeah. I think it originally was going to be 7 and 10, but I believe it's been moved to 4 and 7. Is that what you heard as well?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay, because a lot of places are still listing it as 7 and 10, but I believe I read an article somewhere. So we're going to go with 4 p.m. Eastern time, but yeah, you can hold me to it. UFC Apex, 13 fights. We are starting with the 13th from the top, which would be a men's featherweight fight. Shayilan Nuerdanbieke, from China. Melquizael Costa from Brazil. 3 5-minute rounds. I'll tell you about the Wolverine first. That'll be Nuerdanbieke. 39-11. He's been around. 19 knockouts, 10 submissions. He's been knocked out 3 times, submitted 6 times, 3-2 in the UFC. Lost his last fight via TKO. That was way back in October. That would be April of 2023. I'm off to a stellar start here. Used to fight at bantamweight, lightweight, and welterweight. He's been outstruck in the UFC by 0.66 strikes per minute, and he's at plus 165. Melk Coffee. That means nothing to us, right?
I mean, it seems like it's just his name broken down, right? Am I wrong about that?
I guess it's not milk coffee, right? It's milk coffee.
I don't think it's milk coffee. I take my coffee black, so do with that what you will.
I take my coffee non-existent because coffee's gross. So I've never drank coffee. Did you know that about me? I've never had it's delicious. Sip even of coffee.
It's delicious. And if you think this is another bad take from Jeff, again, comment.
Yep. Here we go. And I saw a guy walking yesterday. I saw a guy walking his kid to school, and he looked like he had a Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Z adjacent shirt on. I'm like, that kid's got no hope. Hey, being raised by a friggin' nerd.
You're such a hater.
That poor girl. I saw him again today. He had some shirt with fire on it. So that poor kid. All right. No, I've never drank coffee. I guess your profession, you have to drink coffee.
I mean, I think everybody should have to drink coffee, I think.
Okay. If you say so. All right. Milk Coffee is 20-7. 7 knockouts, 6 submissions. Knocked out twice, submitted twice. 1-2 in the UFC. Loss over his last 3. 3-2 over his last 5. Got TKO'd in his last fight. So both guys coming off a knockout loss. He used to fight down at bantamweight, up at lightweight. Regional champion. 2014 pro MMA debut. Was a bit of a lifer, and then he got a crack at the UFC. And he's been, at the very least, exciting since he's joined the big show. 2 inches height, 2 inches reach, and 2 years younger than the Wolverine. Better striking stats, more active landing strikes. He's outstruck his opponents in the UFC by 1.3 strikes per minute. Minus 185. Gumby, kick us off.
I'm going Costa. I think for me in this fight, the difference maker is Shayilan Nuerdanbieke is a guy who's I feel like every single time I've watched him fight, he's come out and I've been like, oh, he looks really good here at the beginning. It looks like he's getting stuff rolling. And then as the fight goes, it just feels like he can't keep that pace and he can't keep up with whatever the output of his opponent is, with the exception of, what was the fight where he scored like 1 billion takedowns and then won that fight? I'm gonna have to put the
not Derek Minner.
Did he fight Jay Perrin? Is that a name he's fought?
No. In the UFC, he has fought Josh Coulibaly, Sean Soriano, TJ Brown.
Oh, it's a Soriano fight I'm thinking of.
The controversial Derek Minner fight. That was his last win.
Oh, yeah.
Quote unquote win.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it seems like just like as the fight goes on, he like struggles a little bit more and more. If you look at his wins, it's pretty much just like guys who wanted to wrestle him and didn't succeed. And like Melk is the wrong type of person if you fade late into a fight too, right? It's because he's like a shoot the box guy with high output, super exciting, even if not particularly deadly with the hands, particularly deadly with the pace, and tough with volume. So I think he's going to put the volume on Shayilan. I think we're going to see him, sort of piling it on over and over again. And I think we're going to see him either pick up a late TKO or at least do enough for the second couple rounds.
It's hard to pick against a guy who fought in a promotion called I Am a Champion, but I'm going to go against Nuerdanbieke. I'm taking Milk Coffee here. As Gumby said, he's going to put a pace on him. At the very least, you can count on him to put a pace on guys. And Wolverine's been out of the cage for over a year too, which is never conducive for winning, or so the stats say. So, and I just think Costa's a better and more dangerous fighter. So it's hard to trust guys who most of their career has been on the Chinese regional scene, because we've seen some frauds come out of that scene. So give me Costa here as well. So.
I'm also just gonna quickly throw out here while your dog slowly barks in the background. Which
you hear her? Yes.
Yeah. I was wrong. It's not Shayilan. It was Keelang Aori. I knew Jay Perrin got out wrestled by a Chinese fighter at some point.
Yes. Yeah. So assuming Costa's not in on the take, like Derek Minner, we should be okay here. All right, we're going to one of our faves. Not one of our guys, one of our gals. This is a women's strawweight fight. Julie Polastri, nothing against her, but she's not the fighter in question. She's from Brazil. Josefine Knutsson is what we're talking about. Thunder Josefine Knutsson. Wait a minute. She's got another name too. Josefine Lindgren. Yes, Knutsson from Sweden. Thunder, even though she really doesn't finish people, but nonetheless. All right, let's tell you about Psycho Polastri first. She's 12-3, 4 knockouts, 3 submissions, never been finished in a fight. This is her UFC debut. She's won 4 straight fights, 3 straight via finish, 1-1 on Contender Series. Was the LFA champion and a regional champion. Used to fight at atom weight. Come on, UFC. Come on. Bring the atom weights in. And take my dog, too, while you're at it, UFC. 3 inches of reach over Knutsson, 2 years younger, or active landing strikes. She's outstruck her opponents in the UFC and Contender Series by 1.08 strikes per minute. She's at plus 170. Little Thunder or Thunder. I've seen her Thunder and Little Thunder. What do you call her, Gumby?
I think it's just Thunder.
Yeah. I think she's graduated to Thunder. She's 7-0 with 1 knockout. Well, we got to get the knockouts up there. 1 knockout. 1-0 in UFC, 1-0 Contender Series, 1-0 road to UFC. They really made her jump through some hoops to get in the UFC.
They didn't even give her a contract off Contender Series either.
I know. It's really strange. It makes, anyhow, that's where they are. With some fighters, it's just, there's no explanation for it. There's other fighters, this girl's got it. We're going to put her in. And I shouldn't. The It Girls, things aren't going so good in her life. I shouldn't. Have you heard all the bad things that are going on with the It Girl?
I saw some headlines. I didn't read the articles.
Well, we won't bring
bad,
it up.
It's not
I feel bad for the It Girl. Anyhow, back to Knutsson, 27-5 in kickboxing and a champion there. Gold medal in Muay Thai on the world championship. An inch of height over Polastri, better striking stats. She's outstruck her UFC and Road 2 and Dana White Contender Series points by 2.4 strikes per minute. Minus 192. I guess she's looking for a fight. They didn't make her fight on that. I guess she should feel lucky, right?
I guess. So this is your pick.
And tough.
Yeah.
That's the other property. So they could have made it worse for her. Yeah, Knutsson's the pick, obviously. Just going to be such a better striker here, and used to fighters trying to take her down because she is a kickboxer. So I think she should be able to keep this one standing against Polastri and pick up her second UFC win and her 8th in a row. Overall.
Yeah, I first of all want to throw a little shout out to Polastri striking, because she's one of those ones where I felt like I had to dig back in and see if she was as bad as I remember if she was. And I was like, oh, damn, her light striking is a little bit better than I originally gave her credit for. Yeah, like clearly she would rather have this fight on the ground doing jiu-jitsu with Knutsson. But to your point, she's so much smaller. She's a regular atom weight. She's going to be fighting Knutsson, who has a good kickboxing base. So even if she is trying to, mix it up on the feet with her, I think she's going to lose that battle. And anytime she goes to go to the ground, Knutsson does such a good job of switching the position, pressing somebody against the cage, just wearing them out. And she's got really good clinch strikes too, like knees to the body, elbows up top. Like for me, the fight that just sticks out for Knutsson is actually not one of the ones you just talked about. It's not her fight on Contender Series. It's not her fight on the road to UFC. She fought for, I believe it was UAE Warriors when she fought Jacinta Austin, which was like one of the better women's strawweight prospects out there. And she's so physically strong out of Australia. And Knutsson just neutralized that strength for most of the fight to the point where she won a very close decision. But if she can neutralize the strength and the grappling of Jacinta Austin, I think she's going to have no problem with Polastri. It might not be pretty. This might be a gritty victory here with like lots of clinching because that's what Polastri wants to try to get this fight to the ground. But ultimately, I just don't trust Polastri to be able to get anything going, and I think Knutsson's going to control the position. So give me Josefine Knutsson, negative 192, not a terrible number.
No, you were spelling neutralized with a K, right? I assume.
Yes, neutralized.
Neutralized. All right. Before we move on with some more bad humor, let's tell you about Underdog Fantasy. Well, one of us will have bad humor. Underdog Fantasy has Pick 8, and it's live right now for the NBA Finals. You may wonder, what is Pick 8? That means you're new to the show then. Create entries with up to 8 picks, and Underdog will automatically double flex entries so you can miss up to 2 picks and still win your entry. But the guy who's got 12 picks, he's not going to miss any. Don't worry. With more picks to make and easier ways to win, the excitement is higher than ever. The best part, you can win up to 325 times your original amount. You can now use specials and boosts on all flexed entries. Do you have a pick for game 3? Yeah, maybe people.
This might get in your ear before game 3. If it does, I've got Al Horford higher than 2.5 first quarter points. It looks like Kristaps Porzingis' injury might either badly limit him or keep him completely out of the game. And if so, that's going to give Al Horford a few more attempts. And he had 5 in game 2. So why not at least 3 in game 3?
You're all over Al Horford. Always all over Al Horford picks for this man.
The other one hit higher than 2 3-point or 1.
Hey, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying.
I'm
just saying it's your thing. Sign up with our code, the important part, SGPN MMA, to claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. That's underdogfantasy.com promo code SMMA. Oh, I said it wrong the first time. MMA SGPN. That's what you need to do. I knew it didn't come out sounding right. MMA SGPN. It's because I'm always
it made me doubt myself.
I'm always doing multiple things at once. I got to stop. Yeah, sorry. I got to stop. I just got to focus on one thing here, Gumby. Stop trying to
really.
Yeah, really. Come on, steer the ship. All right, we're back to men's featherweights. Yeah, we just did that. And we're doing another one. Jeka Saragih. Where is he from, Gumby? A place, Indonesia. One of those places. I knew that was that area of the world. I just didn't recognize the flag. Westin Wilson. He's from the good old United States of America. This is 3 5-minute rounds, as are all the fights until we get to the main event. But that's not going to stop me from saying it for every fight. All right, I'll tell you about Wilson first. 16-9, 5 knockouts, 11 submissions. He's a finisher at the very least. He owes his rounds. He's been knocked out 3 times, submitted 4 times. Definitely owes his rounds. 0-2 in the UFC. That's part of a 2-fight losing streak. He's won 3 straight fights before that, and then lost since he's got on the big show. Both of his past 2 losses have come via TKO, which isn't good if you're going up against a guy with the nickname that Saragih has. We'll get to that in a sec. Wilson used to fight at lightweight and welterweight. 1-0 Bellator, 2014 Pro MMA debut. 1-0 as a pro boxer, 5 inches height, 4 inches of reach. So he's going to be the bigger man at the very least here. He's been outstruck in the UFC by 4.51 strikes per minute. That will get you a couple losses. And he's at plus 280. Saragih, C. Tendanjan Mout. You remember what that means, Gumby?
Is he the one that's death kick?
The death kick, you got it.
Yeah.
Going up against a guy who's been TKO'd twice in a row. Ouch. The death kick is 14-3, 9 knockouts, 4 submissions. He's been knocked out once, submitted twice. So damn it, both these guys owe us rounds. It's bound to hit. Take the decision here, people. 1-1 in the UFC, 6-1 over his last 7. Won his last fight via a knockout. Used to fight at lightweight, 2-0 road to UFC. Then you lost in the finals, I believe. Regional champion, 6 years younger than Wilson, better striking stats, more active landing strikes, and better grappling stats. He's been outstruck in his UFC and road to tenure barely. He's at minus 0.08 strikes per minute in the negative there. That's what minus means, I guess. Minus 345.
Saragih is one of the people I've hit my favorite bets of on all time. He
What was
had
that?
I had a free bet and I found
Yeah.
Jeka Saragih KO prop 13-1 when he knocked out Lucas Alexander, who is inexplicably is on a higher part of the card than he is here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Which
very
is wild.
strange.
Yeah, it's always and I'm not a card placement guy, but like
Yeah.
he just knocked him out. No, I'm going with Jeka Saragih too. I actually looked up his KO prop before this because I was like, maybe
not good.
that's something. It's like negative 200, and I mean, it makes all the sense in the
They've
world,
caught
but,
on.
yeah, Westin Wilson's been knocked out 2 in a row. He's an exciting striker. Nobody's taking this fight to the ground. This is a fight between a guy who's really skilled on the feet and is knocking people out, and a guy who's, I think just missed his prime in the UFC. No offense to Westin Wilson, but like he's kind of later in his career. And I think if he had kind of made his way to it when he was, 24, 25, he probably would have hit his stride right. But instead, he's kind of half-heartedly doing it because he's, he wasn't a full-time fighter for a really long time. And yeah, he's working with Wonder Boy, but like, I really think he needs a more well-rounded game because somebody who's been knocked out twice in a row and, one of them being particularly violent, not really what you want from a guy at your age who only wants to strike. And I also want to give him credit for being knocked out. He got knocked out by Joe Anderson Brito and GN Silva, like two guys who hit really hard. But at the end of the day, like the guy who hit slightly less hard in Jeka Saragih has now the benefit of your brain having been bounced around like a basketball for a couple of fights. So, that stuff is cumulative. I'm going to go with Jeka Saragih here. I think he probably nails the knockout.
Yeah, but it's probably like if you're only getting minus 200 and it's what?
It's barely battered, man. Yeah. I mean,
it's probably not worth bothering with it or taking the risk on it.
I don't think
unless you're a type of guy who likes 12 fight parlays, then by all means go right ahead, right?
The hate.
I just don't like dumb people, dude. But that's fine. Like I said, dumb people make the world go round. We need their money to flooding into the sports books. All right. Hey, the aforementioned Carli Judice is up next. Excuse me. Yep, still got a cough. Women's flyweight fight. Carli Judice, United States of America. Gabriela Fernandes, Brazil. 3 5-minute rounds. We'll tell you about crispy Carli Judice. You may ask yourself, like they say in that Talking Heads song, you may ask yourself, why is she called Crispy Carli? You should listen to the Top Turtle MMA podcast this week, and you'll find out why she's called Crispy Carli. It's actually a good story. Sometimes when you ask it, it's a dud. You don't get much. Oh, yeah, just, someone just called me that in the gym one day. But this one's a good story. There's actually a backstory to it.
Yep.
Which is
Make
nice.
sure you listen. Find out about it.
Does it involve lettuce? It could. You never know. Lettuce is crispy. Anyhow, Crispy Judice, Crispy Carli. Crispy Judice does not work at all. Crispy Carli does. She's 3-1 with 3 knockouts. Never been finished in a fight. This is her UFC debut. She lost on the Contender Series, but still got a contract because she's a dog. Knutsson won, didn't get a contract. Just saying. So she did lose her last fight. That was her first career loss. An inch height, 2 inches of reach over at Fernandes, 6 years younger. Based off her one fight, she's got better striking stats, and she's 6 times more active when he strikes than Fernandes is. She got outstruck on the Contender Series by 1.07 strikes per minute. She's at plus 135. Gabi Fernandes, what a great nickname. She's 8-3, 2 knockouts, 3 submissions, never been finished in a fight. 0-2 in the UFC. Used to fight at strawweight, used to fight at bantamweight. She's been outstruck. Exact same number as Judice. That's wild, isn't it? 1.07 in the negative. Better grappling stats than Judice, minus 150. And it be me. It'd be me. Crispy Carli is worth the dog money for me because she is a dog and she's going to take it to Gabi Fernandes. Hopefully she can keep the fight standing. I think she's going to have the size and the strength that she will be able to do that. 6 years of youth is nothing to sneeze at either at a lightweight class like this as well. She definitely, at the very least, she's going to fight for our money. So give me Crispy Carli at plus 135.
Yeah, I love her power, first of all. Like, you don't see a lot of flyweight with power like she has. And then I will also say this, like, I don't know what her takedown defense looks like. So I am going to go with Judice as well, in case I didn't make that clear. I'm going to go with her as well. And I don't know what her takedown defense looks like. So this could be a fight where you're 30 seconds in and you're like, well, that was a bad leg. But at the same time, I think Judice, with her power and the way that she establishes range and throws, I actually think that this is going to create too much space for Fernandes to shoot her takedowns with any kind of fidelity. I think you're going to see Fernandes like really struggling to get close enough to Judice without just getting absolutely popped. And like we saw crazy volume out of Carli Judice on Contender Series. She fought Ernesta Caracate, and like she put out so many punches in that fight. That fight was insane, and she took that fight on 4 days notice. Like with a full camp and a full gas tank, what is her pace going to look like? What is she going to put on Gabi Fernandes here? I think it's going to be too much. I think she overwhelms her here on the feet, and I think she's probably going to need to stuff a couple of takedowns, maybe live through some early adversity, but I really think that cardio is going to carry her to the next level. Yep.
Crispy Carli is our pick, and then she will she's already planning on she's got something planned that has to do with her nickname. I don't want to wreck your interview, so you guys just listen and you'll find out. All right, before we move on, let me tell you about Rhythm. That's about RITHMM, as our YouTube viewers know, because it's right in front of your face right now. If you're betting on NBA player props and you need to download Rhythm, Rhythm gives you a menu of the best player props for every single NBA playoff game. Make it easy to go through and find the best props to put your money on in seconds. Rhythm's predictions are backed by over 3 years of data and a team of data scientists and quants that focus on fine-tuning our algorithm to give you the best shot at winning. Rhythm pairs its predictions with player prop graphs to help make you feel even more confident in your picks, which you can make wherever you normally place your bets or DFS picks. I lost my place. For superstars to bench players, Rhythm finds the best player prop lines, all backed by AI data, without you needing to endlessly scroll a sportsbook. Rhythm also allows you to create your own custom NBA model, so you can get AI-backed money line, spread, and total picks for every playoff game. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. And last but not least, all the money we're helping you win this week, you can take over to Game Time. You won't need too much. And you can buy tickets for any event you want, whether it be sports, whether it be concerts, whatever they sell tickets for. Game Time has it for you, and they are now an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to the first pitch. I told you didn't need too much money. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and the lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. They got flash deals. They got last-minute deals. They got zone deals. You basically, zone deals is you can save even more when you choose a section, and Game Time chooses the seats for you. Lowest price guarantee. I told you all that stuff. Take the guesswork out of buying the tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CFBX for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Let's move on, shall we? What are we moving to next? This fight. It is a men's fight, and it is at bantamweight, and it's Garrett Armfield versus Brady Hiestand. 3 5-minute rounds. Tell you about Bam Bam Hiestand. So this is the little Bam Bam in the UFC. He's 7-2, 3 knockouts, 2 submissions. He's been knocked out once. 2-1 in the UFC. He's won 2 straight. Before that, he lost 2 straight. Won via TKO his last fight. That was back in April of 2023. Has not lost since August of 2021. 2-0 on the Ultimate Fighter, and then lost in the finals to Mr. Galaxy Brain himself. Used to fight at flyweight. Has been outstruck in the UFC by 0.72 strikes per minute. Better grappling stats than Armfield, plus 155. Armfield, 10-3, 6 knockouts, 2 submissions. He's been submitted twice. 2-1 in the UFC. He lost his debut, won 2 straight since then. He's won 5 of his last 6. He's a regional champion. He's got 2 inches of height and 1 inch of reach over Hiestand, and 3 years younger than him. Better striking stats, twice more active landing strikes. He's outstruck his UFC opponents by 2.29 strikes per minute, minus 180. Gambi.
I'm going to go with Armfield. First of all, I want to excuse his debut loss for you. You mentioned he lost his debut. That was on 3 days' notice against David Onama up a weight class.
That's a tough ask.
Yeah, we're not holding that one against him ever. And then since then, I mean, like, look, the thing about him is he's got all the wrestling to be a danger on top. And then when he's fighting a guy who wants to wrestle, he's also got the defensive wrestling to force that guy to strike, right? Like, that's how he beat Brad Katona in his last fight, is Brad Katona tried to take a wrestling-based game to him over and over and over again. And he technically got a lot of takedowns, although he didn't hold any of those positions. And then anytime it was on the feet, Armfield just put it on him. I mean, I think he outstruck him by like 40 or 50 strikes in that fight. You know, like, Armfield was just so much better on the feet than a guy who wants to wrestle. And the thing about Brady Hiestand, you know, he's an okay wrestler, and he seems to be getting better as he gets stronger. But like, we do have to remember that this is a guy who largely lost his fight to Ricky Tercios by losing scrambles. And I just said Garrett Armfield is a better scrambler and is doing better at scrambling than guys like Brad Katona, who we just watched, straight up dominate a fight with 15 minutes of boring ass wrestling. And he could not keep Armfield down and he could not outstrike him. I don't think Hiestand has that avenue to victory here. I don't think he's going to be able to out-grapple Armfield. I think we've only seen guys who are way bigger than Armfield do that. And then on the feet, I just think Armfield's quicker, more polished. I think he's got a more complete game. So give me Garrett Armfield here at -180.
Yep. Armfield is definitely the pick. Better striker. He's got the power. He's got to be the pick. So there we go. We have agreed on everything so far, haven't we? What do you think? Next two fights, you think we're going to agree on these?
I mean, I'm not even sure I agree with myself on the next one.
All right. Next one is... We got two flyweight fights, stand things off. So that's good. That's a positive about this card. Nate Maness, Jimmy Flick is the first one we're going to cover. Jimmy the Brick Flick, 17-7 with 15 submissions. He's been knocked out 6 times. 2-2 in the UFC, 1-2 over his last 3, 5-2 over his last 7. Won his last fight via submission. 1-0 in Contender Series, 1-0 in Bellator. LFA champion. Used to fight at bantamweight and featherweight. Was regional champion as well. So he's got a lot of stuff on his mantle here. 2010 pro MMA debut. 0-1 as a grappler. 0-1 in Muay Thai. 1-0 in kickboxing. He's been outstruck in the UFC and Contender Series by 3.5 strikes per minute, plus 370. Mayhem Maness, 15-3, 6 knockouts, 3 submissions. He's been knocked out once, submitted once. 4-2 in the UFC. He is also 1-2 over his last 3, but he got a win in his last fight via TKO. Used to fight at bantamweight. Used to fight at featherweight. Used to fight at lightweight. Multiple regional championships on his mantle. Correct. Get the shirt. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Get sticky. 2013 pro MMA debut. 3 inches height, 4 inches reach. So he's way bigger than Flick. You can see how he fought up at lightweight. Better striking stats, more active landing strikes than Flick. However, he's been outstruck in the UFC by almost 2 strikes a minute. He's at -1.96. And he's on the board -450. Maness has got to be the pick for me here. Way bigger, a way better striker, going up against a guy who has been susceptible to getting knocked out before. So Maness is going to cause the mayhem in the cage.
So I think I'm going to go with Maness too. But I have to caveat this. Like, if you've got $100, you could do a lot worse than a home run play here on Jimmy Flick. Because you should just mute yourself for a second.
You hear her again.
Yeah, it's vicious, man. So the thing about Jimmy Flick, I think you could do worse than $100 fun play on Jimmy Flick. And the reason being is that you're right. Jimmy Flick is the guy who's tend to get knocked out. Nate Maness is a guy who's got good ground and pound and has finished people that way. And also Nate Maness has walked into dumbass submissions before, real dumb submission. Watch his fight with Tagir Ulanbekov. Not that Tagir Ulanbekov's not good. We're going to talk about him in a second. He's plenty good. But he's on the ground with Tagir and he just turns and gives him his neck and then is immediately choked down. With Jimmy Flick is so good at submissions and finding them in dumb positions. It wouldn't surprise me to see Nate Maness knock him down with a right hook. And then instead of telling him to stand his ass back up, fouls him to the mat and gets triangle choked. I would advise you, especially if you're one of those guys on Reddit with the 12 fight parlays, against all rational knowledge here, avoid putting Nate Maness in a parlay.
Yeah, I'm laughing at your jokes and I realize, hey, no one can hear me laughing at Gumby's jokes.
That's okay. They can see you on YouTube.
Yes, I was checking. Okay, let's check Maness's knockout prop. Man, the knockout props are not our friend this week. Let me tell you. I think that was minus.
I actually disagree with you, but I will save that for tomorrow's show.
Good. Man, you should let me know because I'm struggling to find a prop here. I guess I have till tomorrow.
I have too many.
Oh, good. Well, you can give me a few. All right, we're going to the main event. It's a flyweight fight. Main event of the prelims. Tagir Ulanbekov from is his flag Russia or is he one of the he's from Mother Russia. He's not from one of the other smaller countries around there. Joshua Van, he is from Myanmar, which has a really cool flag. This is 3 5-minute rounds. Josh Van, the fearless Josh Van, is 10-1. 6 knockouts, 2 submissions. He's been submitted once. 3-0 in the UFC. He's won 8 straight. Won his last fight via TKO. has not lost fights since December 2021. Was regional champion, 10 years younger than Ulanbekov. Better striking stats, twice more active landing strikes. He's outstruck his opponents in the UFC by 3.31 strikes per minute. That'll get you some wins, plus 190. Ulanbekov, 15-2 with 1 knockout, 8 submissions. Never been finished in a fight. 4-1 in the UFC. He's won 2 straight fights, both via submission. He's not lost since March of 2022. He has multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct the shirt. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Get sticky and all that good stuff. What else? Used to fight at bantamweight, 2013 Pro MMA debut, a Sambo world champion, 2 inches of height, 5 inches of reach over Van. He's barely been outstruck in the UFC. He's at minus 0.08. Better grappling stats, minus 220. Give me the dog. Oh, it's your turn. Don't give me the dog.
I'll give me the dog too.
Give me the dog.
Yeah, team ride start to finish here. Yeah. It's the pace, right? Like that's the thing about Joshua Van is I wrote him off already when he fought Kevin Burgos. I was like, he's not as good of a striker as Kevin Burgos, which like in retrospect, I was probably wrong about in the first place. Like he probably actually is both a better striker. And then like you just can't put a numerical value on what his cardio does for him. And the fact that he not just has this like undying, ridiculously deep cardio, but he also has like the knowledge base to work the body of his opponent. So not only is his cardio staying up, their cardio is going down. And if you watch Ulanbekov, you know, the fight with Tim Elliott is the one that like really clinched it for me here and said to get the dog on Joshua Van. Is that like if you watch that fight with Tim Elliott, a lot of times when they tied up, and yes, Tim Elliott was grabbing his gloves and he even admitted he was, but like anytime they were tying up in the clinch, you know, Elliott could hit stuff to the body. Elliott could work stuff to the body, and it was buying him time on the feet. And even if Ulanbekov got him down, Elliott got back up. Now, granted, Van, maybe not as polished of a grappler as Tim Elliott, but I think good enough to get back up, and I think more punishing in the clinch. I think you're maybe going to see him give the first round up, but you are definitely going to see him pour it on in the second and third. I love Joshua Van in this spot.
Yeah, the pace and the power obviously is a big thing too, especially for a flyweight that can hit like him. So hopefully he can keep it vertical and keep the fight on the feet. That's the key here. So, but I think you're getting almost 2-1 money.
That's
so
crazy.
I think it is. Yeah, I think it is worth the stab at it. All right, let's recap. For the person on YouTube who says it would be nice if we recapped our picks, I recap our picks every episode. So obviously you don't watch to the end. I think they just want something they can scrub to, right? They want it all listed on the screen.
I think they want like a graph.
No, then no one will watch or listen to us. So no, that's not the way it works. People just don't get how you make money, Gumby, right? No, they want no ads and they want us to just give the picks. Just write our picks out. Anyhow, Van this is a team rider, right? Van, Maness, Armfield, Judice, Saragih, Knutsson, Costa. So Gumby learned his lesson last week going against me so often, and now you're just gonna fade all my. You're gonna tag along on all my picks.
I did really heavily think about flip-flopping a flick, though. I gotta say, there's probably flick? Yeah, I think there's probably gonna have to be like a flick sub sprinkle. So flick sub sprinkle is like a hilarious.
Sorry, Milk Coffee is the episode title. Sorry, I've already decided.
Not flick. Never mind. Go ahead.
You can't even remember what it is. Flick sub
sprinkle. Flick sub sprinkle.
I'll think about it. We'll see. I'm writing it down so I don't forget. All right.
Flick sub sprinkle is pretty funny.
Yeah. Of course, you think that. You said it. All right. Let's get out of here. Let's get into the Discord. That's where we all hang out. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. There's no one in. There's no people in there telling you how Dustin's going to win now. So it's a lot more calmer in there. For a while there, it was all Dustin's going to win from a few people. So he didn't win, and he wasn't going to win. Anyhow, not throwing shade. I'm just saying. Twitter, SGPN MMA. He's like I am. I'm a Jeff Fox writer. I'm just like my dog. I'm salty today. You can hit me up on Instagram if you like as well, Jeff Fox writer. Get in my Substack. No pick'em contest this week, but I starting next week again. We'll have UFC pick'ems for you. You can enter for free. And if you get a paid subscription, you get all my writing and you help support me. So that's moneymma.substack.com. I made it as cheap as they allow it on Substack to get in there. Gumby is at Top Turtle MMA Podcast. We mentioned he has Crispy Carli Judice on this week. Tell the people who else is on your show this week, Gumby.
Jose Johnson, who we'll be talking about tomorrow.
We are. Gumby pick Judice. Will he pick Jose Johnson. We shall see. What else? Obviously, YouTube. If you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. It would help us out greatly. Subscribers are still creeping up there, so we appreciate that. That's MMA Gambling Podcast, obviously, on YouTube. What else can you do? You should go to the mothership, sportsgamblingpodcast.com, and you should go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store, and you should go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon. We'll be back tomorrow. It'll be Milk Coffee, Gummy Reeland. It will be Little Thunder, Jeff Fox, and we shall talk to you then. Bye-bye.